I'll just do it later. So, you're that kind of a person, huh? By that kind of a person, I mean one of the majority of people in existence. Us humans have somehow manipulated our own minds into a thought process of thinking that doing a task tomorrow is somehow gonna be easier than doing it today. We've done that so much throughout our lives, now it's almost become automatic. So when you encounter a hard task, it's almost automatic that you postpone it to the next day or the next week. This leads us to a lifestyle of zero productivity and piled up to-do lists everywhere. I used to be just like that too. Here are some techniques and ideas that help me beat procrastination. Tip number 1 is to declutter your life. Even if you don't notice it, your physical environment has a huge effect on your mental state. One of the major reasons that goes unnoticed when it comes to procrastination is you're trying to overcome procrastination in an environment that supports procrastinating. If your task is to complete a boring assignment and you're trying to complete it with your phone by the side of your table and with your not so funny friend sending you weird memes non-stop, you'd obviously lean into the phone and try to see what kind of weird stuff happened on the internet today. Sounds pretty accurate, right? That's why it is very important that you keep only the essential stuff with you when you're doing a certain task. For an example, if you're trying to complete an assignment, leave your phone in a separate room or just leave it in a drawer where you can't see it. That way there's lesser stuff that will steal your attention and lead you to procrastinate. So yeah, before you jump into completing a task, make sure you tidy up and organize your workspace, and just by doing that, you will see significant improvements in overcoming procrastination. This applies to digital workspaces as well. If you're that kind of a guy who has hundreds of tabs open at the same time, this one's for you. If you have websites like Netflix or YouTube open right next to your work tab, there's a really high chance that you might just go to check the updates on your favorite YouTuber and tend to procrastinate on the work that you said you were going to do. So always keep in mind to declutter your digital workspace as well as your physical workspace before jumping into completing a task. Tip number 2, eat that frog. I found about this fact on a YouTube video by a channel called Better Ideas, which he read in a book called Eat That Frog by the author Brian Tracy. Alright, to the most awaited question. Does eat that frog mean exactly what it sounds like? Well, yeah, sort of. Now imagine that you were assigned with the task to eat a frog every day once you wake up. That wouldn't be that much appetizing now, would it? But what this term, eat that frog, teaches us is, if one way or another inevitably you have to eat a frog that day, it's easier and it's way more convenient for you if you eat the frog first thing in the morning. And if your task was to eat 2 frogs a day, it's easier and much more convenient if you ate the bigger one first. Because the more you postpone eating that frog, the more it's gonna haunt you and ruin your day. Let's say you ignored the fact that you have to eat a frog and now you're finally enjoying a funny movie. And you keep watching it and out of nowhere, BAM! You're reminded of the frog that you didn't eat. Now let's say you were enjoying a long, warm shower after a full day of procrastinating and BAM! You're reminded of the frog. Let's say you are so good at procrastinating that you ignored the fact that you have to eat a frog the whole day and now you're going to bed. You can't get proper sleep because the frog's bothering you. Alright, let's say somehow you managed to have a good night's sleep with that frog in your head. Now you wake up on the next day and now you're given another frog to eat. So that sums up to 2 frogs to eat that day because you didn't eat the frog that was given to you yesterday on that day itself. Now that you have 2 frogs to eat on the same day, it's way harder. And the more and more you do it, the more and more you put away the task of eating the frog, now you ended up at a point that you'll have to have a mukbang full of frogs of different sizes and different shapes. Pretty disturbing to even picture it, right? Now how this applies to us in real life is, let's say you were given an assignment where you have to write a report every day for 7 days. So you procrastinate on the first day, telling yourself that you'll do it tomorrow, and you keep on doing it until it's the deadline. Now you're stuck in a situation where you'll have to finish 7 days worth of reports on one single night. And now you have to take out the last $20 in your account to buy energy drinks and pull an all-nighter. I promise this is not a real story. Tip number 3 is building up momentum. Momentum is what keeps us going. It is what keeps us in motion throughout our entire lives. Even though we don't notice it much, the daily tasks that we do have impacts on each other that are working simultaneously or working one after the other, kind of like a domino effect. This can also be viewed as a simple brain trick, where you trick your brain into taking action on a complex task by initiating it with a simpler task. That brings us to the 1-2-3 or 3-1 rule, whichever one you prefer. The 1-2-3 rule is pretty dumb, but it's so dumb that it's actually genius. So this is basically how it works. So let's say you have a task in your to-do list. It can even be something like getting out of your cozy, comfortable bed on a cold morning, or something a bit more complex like starting on with an assignment that you've been procrastinating for a long time. What you do is when you feel like procrastinating on this task for 5 more minutes, you count from 1 to 3 or 3 to 1 and you get up and just do it. I know it sounds pretty dumb, but it actually works. Because what it does is, it tricks your brain into doing a complex task by initiating with the simple habit of counting from 1 to 3. So I've been using this method for almost 20 days if I kept count correctly. I've been taking cold showers every day for the past 20 days. Now it's kind of become a habit that when I count from 1 to 3, without procrastinating, I have to turn the cold water knob. Trust me and try it for yourselves because it actually works. Tip number 4 and the last tip of this video is the 2 and the 5 minute rule. These rules are points that are borrowed from the book Getting Things Done by David Allen. The 2-minute rule, what it basically states is that whatever it is in your task list, if it takes you less than 2 minutes to complete it, just do it and get it over with. For an example, if it's just replying to a quick email or sending a quick message, no matter what the priority of the task is, just get it done and get it over with without stacking all these small tasks that you have to complete. And the 5-minute rule on the other hand states that if a certain task takes you more than 30 minutes to complete it, just start with doing it for 5 minutes. So for an example, let's say that I've been procrastinating on editing this video for a couple of days now. So what the 5-minute rule states is that just commit to editing the video for 5 minutes, and after these 5 minutes you're free to leave if you want to. But the chances are, now that you've started it and you've gained the momentum, you're more likely to keep on going except for just stopping it after doing it for 5 minutes. And it's fine, if you still don't feel like doing it after doing it for 5 minutes, you can leave the task there for a while and start with another thing and just get back to that and start doing 5 minutes of it again and see if you feel like continuing it then. Now that we've come to the end of the video, without just wasting time and procrastinating on the task that you have to do, take action. Use these techniques and I think you will see a significant improvement in yourself in overcoming procrastination. Until I come up with another video, I hope you guys take care and I hope you keep on pushing for a better version of yourself.